God got up and he said, you who are without sin, what is sin? Hurt, okay? You who do not hurt anybody, throw the first stone. The oldest one of the Pharisees went away. Then the next oldest went away. Then the next oldest, until they're all gone. Then God said, Jesus, he said, woman, where are your accusers? He got rid of the judges. So stop judging. I don't care what you are or who you are, if you're from outer space or what. You don't know what people have been through. You haven't been in their shoes, okay? So anyway, we need to stop judging, okay? Then he said, where are your accusers? And there were none, okay? Then he said, neither do I accuse you. You didn't judge her, because God the Father judges. Somebody has to judge. You can't just let people, crooks out of the jail, because they'd kill you, okay? All right. How about if they came to your house and killed you? That would not be not good, right? You'd be dead. Now, why is it you'd be dead? What would you be thinking when you're dead? You would be thinking, wait a minute, I don't love myself. That's right. You don't love yourself because you don't love God. Okay? All right. Now I'm almost finished. Okay? So then he said, to the lady, go leave your life of sin now because you got to be a Christian. He didn't say that. He said, woman, go leave your life of sin. He gave her a choice. We need to give people choices, not force. Okay? So here's the last thing I'm going to do. This is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So we got to know what good and evil is. Now, God guarded the tree of life. Because you see, you took the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and your eyes were opened, and you saw you were naked. All right? So therefore, you knew the difference between good and evil. If you were to eat the tree of life, you would be good and evil forever. So if you were evil, mostly evil, you'd be the devil. Okay? So now I want to sing you a song from the scripture, but before I do, let me share something with you. No, actually, I don't need to share that. I'm just going to sing the song. It's from 1 John. God is love, whoever lives in love, lives in God and God in him. In this way love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment, There is no fear, and fear can include hurt, in love, but perfect love drives out all fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. So let's stop judging each other and notice that if you're in God's love, you don't fear. The other thing that John says is if you're a child of God and you don't love your brother, and what does brother mean? That means a prostitute, Christian, Jew, whatever, okay? Hindu, I could go on, okay? Then if you don't love your brother, then you're a liar and the truth is not in you. Now, Jesus said, do not judge or you'll be judged, because the way you judge, it'll be judged to you. If I had a log in my eye, and I'm not talking Jesus, I'm talking me, okay? Then how can I see my brother to take the speck out of his eye? First, I need to say, I am the greater sinner. That's right, folks, I'm the greater sinner, not you. Because you might be gay, or you might be a prostitute, or you might be a Christian, or you might be a Jew, or whatever. A man from Mars, a lady from Mars, okay? And you think your way is the best way. No, God is the best way. God decides who's going to be saved, okay? So I got to remove that log from my own eye, which is heavy, by the way. And if I go left and right, it's going to hit people, okay? Once I remove that log out of my eye and stop judging, then I could remove the little speck out of the other eye. So in the way you judge, it'll be judged to you. and you'll stand before the Father and give account for that. Okay? Well, God bless you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. So last thing I'm going to say is this. If God was a Christian, then he'd make everybody a Christian. If God was a Jew, he'd make everybody a Jew. If God was a prostitute, he'd make everybody a prostitute. If God was not a prostitute, he was gay, he'd make everybody gay. If God was a transvestite, he'd make everybody a transvestite. No, God is love, Love. Okay, so you could either do the tree of good and knowledge of good and evil and say, oh, I'm good enough, everything's fine, I could take care of myself. Well, guess what? Then you're like a man who's drowning. And the lifeguard calls out to you, you need help, you need help. And you say, no, I don't need help, I'm okay, everything's fine. And then you look at your brother in the water and you say, just let him drown. Well, guess what drowning is? Depression. I've been depressed. So now, do you want to be depressed? No, right? So look to God who is love, and I already said the rest, okay? Or, so you have a choice. You can look to the evil part, okay, and good and evil, and you know what good is, admit it, okay? Or you can look to the tree of life, who's God, and he's love. Thank you. Have a good day.